Just posting this real quick little one in response to Lawrence Accountability's video that he shared there, and something that we've seen many times. And I'm saying this is someone who, again, I took my national testing, and I went to school to be a Fed, but regardless, taser, shoots men between the shoulder blades, it looked like. But police accountability, it's funny looking at those sort of things, so far as like injuries or percentage of deaths that occur in training, that sort of stuff, have been something that are incredibly hard to find any accurate numbers, and this has been this way for years. Very recently, within the 2020s, and very possibly because of protests, whatever, you're able to find hit and miss, here and there, reports from either the DOJ or FBI, that sort of thing. But a large portion of that is because most places, the police are the ones that are doing their own investigations, their own reporting, their own any of that. There's a big old rabbit hole in all of that sort of thing. Very specifically and close kind to my heart, and the reason why I would probably never go down that route. The standards and training, in which different professionals, law enforcement, military, private contractors, whatever, hold themselves. But again, police report their own numbers, as far as obviously we know that they report their own training numbers, and only do that when heavily pushed, but also any sort of injuries, deaths, any of that sort of stuff. And that's been a historical thing, honestly, actually, since the start of policing in America, and specifically police unions. I'm not anti-union, throwing that out there. Police unions in America, the start of little groups like End of Watch, that sort of thing. End of Watch is a program, a group that tracks law enforcement deaths, and not all of those deaths are in the line of service, anything like that. And again, speaking anything bad about it or whatever. But this is about a training standard. This is about, looking at. So I said recently, FBI and DOJ, and in fact, the last one that I could find personally, I know there of another person who has done more in-depth studies on this, and anyone who wants that information, let me know. I will be glad to post it and share their research on this. But generally, it's really hard to find self-reported, because that's all that exists out there. Numbers from the police. But of 2021, FBI investigations listed 129 line of duty deaths for police. Of those 129, 73 were attributed to felonious actions, and 56 were accidents. But we're going to have to take that 73 with a grain of salt, and whether or not any of those acts were, or all of those acts were actually felonious. What could be proven was that of the 129 deaths, 73 of them, they proved their own reporting that there was a felonious act, basically they were murdered. 57%. It's not even 57, it's like 56.5, but of line of duty deaths by police officers in 2021 were able to be shown as some form of a felonious assault, murder, whatever. 56, which is 43, 44, however you want to round that, percent, just under half, were accidental, meaning whether in training or otherwise. Could you imagine if 40% of military deaths that we attributed to in the line of duty, serving our country, whatever, I'll say it that way, however much you want, if 40% of those were accidental or training